What I just want to do briefly is to explain to you everything you need to fully understand and manage good stereoscopic pictures. There are a few things to know. It's not complicated, but you must know. The first condition for stereoscopy is, I will try to, wait a minute. Yeah. What is important is your two eyes here. This is your main subject, you know, you want to take care. And for example, the book here will be projected on the background on 2 points. These 2 points you should clearly distinguish each of them. This is the most important of the thing. If you cannot distinguish these 2 points on the background, you have no stereoscopic effect. It's just what you do when you close one eye and the second one. So everything, to be able to do that, is what we will check now. The first thing to know is what is called the keenness of eye. We have limitation on our eye. This is I would say, biological limitation. The smallest angle we can find out is about 1 minute. That the mathematician called in radian 0.0003. So this is our limit, which means this angle, we'll put next one. Yes. I'm missing some part, but yeah. So this angle here between the 2 points is something as 1 minute. I put here under some distances. Each dot here, for example here, has different size, but they are different in the distance. So according to where you are in this room, you may distinguish some of them here, but you may not distinguish these two here. These ones and these ones are same size, but only the distance is different apart. Second thing which is important is what I call the color separation. It's sometimes difficult to find according to the different colors. Some points we can check because the color is vivid, or others we cannot do. You know, this kind of things. It's the same gray here, but if you are very far, you can see this point. You may not be able to see this one, for example. And here some colors will fade. You cannot see each dot. So it depends on your own eyes and the distance you are. So when we will have one background, we may have difficulty to find out if it is stereoscopic or not. If you have one tree and there is the forest on the behind and the far background, you may not distinguish very well. But if you have one tree and behind there is one building with windows, it will be easier and you get better stereoscopic effect. So these are our physiological limits, but now we will check what are the parameters on the scenery itself. I mean, if I come back to this one, we'll see what here we can find out. The first thing is the background disposition. Just say here for the colors. This background here is very nice. There are many things, many colors, many different contrasts. If it is a blue sky, completely blue, it will be difficult to get stereoscopic effect. The second point in this scenery arrangement is the distances. Mainly the distance between you or your camera and the subject. Let's go ahead. Yeah. So here is your main subject, or it could be here. So according to the distance, if it's far or not, you see that this angle between your eyes or your camera will change. And this will affect, of course, what you will get on your pictures. This is the first geometric parameter. Second geometric parameter is the distance between your subject and the background. If the background is far, the 2 points are quite large apart each from the other. If it's near, they are too close. And at some distance, you will not be able to separate these 2 points. So there is a minimum distance between your subject and the background. And under this distance, you will not have stereoscopic effect. And this zone here, the smallest one here, this is what we call the ineffective zone, which means no stereoscopic effect. For example, my hand here on the screen, there will be no stereoscopic effect. But here, you will get a good one. So this is the second geometric parameter. Another one, and that's the only one we can work on, is the distance between the 2 cameras. For your eyes, I can do nothing. But the cameras, yes, you can do something. You can see easily that for your eyes, the 2 points here that should be separated are quite close. But with the cameras apart with a larger base, they are quite wide here. And this is how we will work on the stereoscopic effect for our means. So now it's not too difficult when you have all these parameters to try to find some rules about it. So this is what we got now. The base, the distance, we cannot change the distance. The distance between the subject and the background, we cannot change it. And according to the base here, we have the distance between the 2 points. So this is very easy geometric parameter to adjust, even if it was thinking for a long time to find some rules, you know. So some rules we find. Let me find the proper file here now. Yeah. So these formulas are quite easy. Determine as the base as an effective zone. But when you determine the base like this formula, this is the minimum you find. So you can start to distinguish the 2 points on the background. So in this example here, distance to the subject 100 meters, distance from the subject to background 30 meters. The keenness, I'll put 0.0004, which is not what I said for your eyes, but this is for a 35 millimeter camera. This is the most common value admitted by everybody, because it depends on the optical system and so on. For large format, for example, we can use another value for keenness and so on. So this one is for 35 millimeter film camera. Then you got this base as minimum. An effective zone, 30 meters. This is normal because we put the base, which we here on this calculation, we put the base that is just this one. So in this case, we find that you are just the minimum for the stereoscopic effect. I will show you a table later on where we can change the base data. On this formula here, the base here is calculated from this value. So you got always the same data here and here. But if you have seen some of the pictures I've displayed, you will see that on some of them you got quite strong stereoscopic effect, and some others you don't have such a strong stereoscopic effect. And for a while I was using a formula that I put in aerial eye, and I found that in some cases it was not working properly. I didn't have the results I was expecting to. And I check in books, I check in literature, I try to find what could be the best way to calculate the base. And at the end, I just reconsidered myself the whole thing. I started from what I explained to you just before, how to separate the 2 points. And the formula I put in aerial eye, it was not considering the distance from the subject, that one, I have to change it. Yes. It was not considering the distance from the subject to the background. So, of course, in some cases, I was disappointed. So, reconsidering the whole thing, I went to a just considering that if this distance here to some distance, this is the background, this is my eye. So this is the minimum distance that my eye could be able to distinguish. But by the stereoscopic effect, because I put a larger base, if I may have this distance here larger between the 2 points, just by separating the base, I will have this distance which is much more than this one. And I just consider that the stereoscopic power or ratio, what you want, will be just the ratio between this distance here, what I effectively get with my base camera, with regard to what I got normally with the eye, as a minimum. So just checking what is this ratio in each case. In each case, which means here, from the base I put, I have this distance here, but the minimum my eye could see is shorter than that. So I check what is this ratio in each case, and I found by experience that with some value of this ratio, I would say between 2 and 6, we got good stereoscopic effect. Not too much, not too low. When you have 1, I mean when this distance here apart from the base and this one is the same, it means you have no stereoscopic effect, you got to have 1. But over, you got stereoscopic effect. So it went to one formula. And I have to go back. This one here, which is this formula here, where L is the interval between the subject and the background. And here we got every parameters in this formula. The only parameters we don't have, of course, is I would say was the background configuration, if it was a blue sky or a forest or something. So then you have to adjust to put, I have a nice background, I can have less stereoscopic effect from the formula, or I have to add some more. So I have another table now, which is, I have to go to this one. Yeah. I just put it for different cases. You have the base here, you have different distances, different intervals on the background, and it calculates all stereoscopic ratio at its time. So what is interesting, in fact, is when you have some pictures to check what happened and what we have. This is how you will get experienced. So I will show you this table. If you modified one parameter, for example, you send one distance, all the table here is changed. So you can adjust exactly what it is. So what I would like to show you now is some examples on some pictures I've displayed there, and to show how we calculate these parameters and which figures we get for the stereoscopic effect. I have been quite fast on this explanation, but if you have already some questions about this theory or not, is it clear for everybody? Don't worry about the calculation and the table, it's made automatically, but what is important, in fact, is, come back to this one. Yeah. That's the key point to understand. Distance from here to here, distance from here to here, and your base.
Does the distance D always have to be more than the distance L? Or can it be too, can your subject be too close?
You can switch.
Okay.
After the calculation show you if you have stereoscopic effect or not. Well, if the subject is very close here, and the background is very far, that may happen, it's very easy to have stereoscopic effect. And we can just discuss on the table. Okay. For the same base, 70 millimeter, which is about what our eyes are looking at, take a short distance, for example, here, 3 meters, and you got the background at 1,000 meters. you see the stereoscopic effect ratio is very high. But if the background is only at 5 meters, it's much less. Or with the same background distance here, 1000 meters, if you take your main subject at 20 meters, you get only 8.6. You see the much difference between this distance of the subject 20 meters to here 58 for 3 meters.
Is there a value there that you consider the threshold of being coming too low? Is there a value for stereoscopic ratio? 1?
Yes, when you got 1,
1.1 is okay?
well, 1.1 you start to see something, a stereoscopic effect.
And you would like to have at least how much?
What is nice is to be between, I would say between 2 and 6.
Okay.
That is the most natural feeling. But it seems to me, and I have not put it other figures here other way, it's just the simple ratio. But it seems it's like an audio ratio, you know, as decibel, where you are on a logarithmic curve, which means it starts slow and then it's going high very fast. So you have not to take care too much if, you know, this ratio here, starts from, let's say this one, for example, start from at 5 meters and background quite near. You start from 1, 3, 6, something. But even until 30, you can see it quite easily with your eyes. You feel it's a strong stereoscopic effect, but that's it. Over 50, it will be really strong. And when it's too strong, you cannot adjust with your 2 eyes when you see the 2 pairs of stereoscopic photographs. But for me, it's more a logarithmic rule, so just leave it like that. And yes?
I missed the part about K. How do you figure that out? I mentioned
K, yeah, K is very simple. I said the minimum angle you can see is about 1 minute. And you can check it by yourself. You just put 2 points on your wall. You just go far away. And you see when you cannot distinguish these 2 points. And then you calculate the angle between these 2 points and the distance you were. And you get one value, which mathematicians put in radian. So the value 0.003, I said for your eye, this is this angle expressed in radian. You say that like that, radian in English? Radian, yeah. But for the cameras, we got some loss of this keenness because of the camera itself, because of the film and so on. So if you use a larger medium format camera, for example, or a 35mm film camera, you get different value. So just check in the in books about photography and so on when they are speaking about keenness and what the lens could do. Then they explain a little bit about that, and you find the value. Don't tell me about digital camera, but it can be recalculated. For me, it's 0.6 or 0.8, no more. So some more questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not quite clear about the relationship of the 2 points on the distance. Is this because one point is in front of the other, or it's just a separation?
Well, it just check with one eye the end of this stick, for example, and you check where it is here on the board or not. Well, it's too high. Okay. And then you see there's this point. You'll see at different points on the background. With one eye it's at one place, and the other one is the other place. It's this distance which is important.
So what's in a line, the same line?
Yes. But if there, when you are looking and you see no difference from this point on the background, then you have no stereoscopic effect. It's as simple as that, yeah.
So you can
Is that
usually check before taking a picture. Just look like this and like that, and you see if you see any difference.
Yeah.
You know that you can have a stereoscopic view.
except that one is on your kite is difficult to go there.
Yeah, okay, but
But on the ground, yes, the same effect, exactly, yes.
check on the ground.
Yes, on the ground you can do it. On the ground you can check if you will separate it or not. And you can try to find the distance, but... So let's see through an example, maybe it will become clear. And, yeah, that's one picture I displayed. Well, this is, I put a low definition one, but this was a kite. And you can see that we got first point here, and each point here is the kite is going something as bubbles, you know. And from this point here, we can see it against the point on the nearby, and so on. And this one is with the far end on the blue sky, but this one here is on the ground. So we can try to determine each time, like this picture, what is the distance to the subject, for example, here, and to the background, which is the sun here. Yeah. So, well, the drawing not so good, but this is the kite here. From this point to this point is about 1 meter. So we know the distance from the, well, I knew it was about 20 meters from the camera rig to this point here, and then 1 meter, or 20 meters for this point here. Or from this point here, something as 40 meters from the camera, but the background is at 200 meters more. So you just put that in the formula, and you find out what it is. I try to find the place where I put the results. Yes. So for example, the first ones here, that we got here from 1 meter to 1 meter, we got 1.5 as stereoscopic ratio. So if you have seen that picture, you have feel all the stereoscopic ratio here, you have feel that that was a stereoscopic effect on the kite itself. Not from the kite to the background, but each bubble, you could feel it was in relief, I will say. Even it was not a high stereoscopic ratio. But when it's near like that, it's enough to see it. And let's see. Another value, for example, this sand here to the sand, this is about 15 as stereoscopic ratio. You see it's 10 times more. But on the picture, it doesn't look like. The reason is the sand is quite uniform, and hopefully there are some people on the sand that are some kind of, I would say, reference for our eye. But as I said before, the background disposition is quite important. So in this case, it just lessens the stereoscopic effect. But 15 is not too high anyway. And another value, for example, yeah, there is this small kite here, another kite which was behind, and we could see in front of the first one, just to show you. You know, we got that kite, the remonta, but we got this one here. So the distance between these ones will give us some stereoscopic effect from this point to this one. So from here to here is 150 meters. And we got a stereoscopic ratio of 10. And for those who have really checked the picture, you know that you really see this one against this one, and you can see distinctly that they are very well separated. And then if you look at the background, which is the sky, you got other figures, which is about 15 here, not much difference from here. So just considering that, you know, on this picture, we have stereoscopic effect for 1.5, which is a minimum to see something interesting, to something about 15, which is not too high. And maybe we can ask for those who have seen this picture how they feel it, but what was your impression when you saw that picture?
Amazing.
Amazing, yeah?
So that picture, the base was 250.
Yeah, this base was 250, yes.
If you had moved them closer,
Then-
on the kite would not have been in stereo.
Then if you move it closer, the base, then the ratio here will become
Then you would see
short,
stereo.
and you just maybe to only 1. And if you got only one, you have no stereoscopic effect. Let's go to another example. This is another picture I've displayed. Well, this one is a little dark on the screen, but what is interesting there is this is many aerial picture. We got something like that. We got some subject here against the ground. You got another one here against the ground. We got trees against something else, and so on. So you have many different, I would say, plans consecutively. This one is more complex, but as it's a place I know very well, and I have map of it. It was very easy for me to find out the distance for each building. So height of the cradle, about 50 meters. This was what I see from the camera, because it was slightly inclined. And all distances from the rig, I know exactly because I just calculate from the ground on a close-up map. And here the results are interesting as well. From the first building here, for example, we got 3.6. The next ones here, these ones, we got 2.3 to 3, 2.2 to 3. So 2 to 3, 3.6. The castle here, we got 1.3 to 4. These trees here, we got 2.5. And you see what is interesting is each time you find the stereoscopic effect, for example, this castle against the trees behind. Not for the very far background. And what is interesting is that the figures I've given you, it's something between, I will say, 2 and 4 or 2 and 5, which is really nice for good stereoscopic effect. So some question for those who have been looking at it. You really feel a nice stereoscopic effect, but not too strong. When it's too strong, it's very easy. You can see, for example, the trees. It's like something which has been cut in cardboard, It looks really flat. And if you got something too strong, you got that. If you have a stereoscopic effect of 50, you just get cardboard behind each other. So you see something with a stereoscopic effect, but it's not so interesting to look at. This is what we have most commonly on aerial picture when you just shoot, at the floor. You see, you don't need really to have a very large base. This one was much more than the other one with the kite because I was very near the kite before, the Remanta. Here I got 450. I put the maximum base just to see what I will got. And you can calculate with another base, and you see if you got much difference in the results or not. Does it look more clear now with the different planes and the stereoscopic effect? Another picture I put is the same kind as we saw for the castle. Nice roofs, interesting to see and take pictures of roofs sometimes. But here the houses are not too high. The distance to the next one is sometimes a little short. But we can make the same calculation. And just figure out how it is some way. Check the distance from the rig to this point here, and from this roof here to the ground or to the next house, and so on. And what we got here, for example, this one, the first one, we got something as 4.4. Next one, 3.3. Next one, 2.9. So just to show you that this kind of pictures is not really difficult to get good stereoscopic effect in the medium range. But you don't need to have a very large base for that. And this one was 350. And if you look at the picture, you may find that on the castle before, it was more stereoscopic effect on some trees. And this one is more natural one. So how to proceed when you have that? Well, you are on the ground, you want to see something. Just to know already that if you have some base between 250, 300, 400, you may have nice pictures. So just go and try. But if you want to be more precise, we can use the tables and just come back to it. Yeah. And for example, this ones I put on a different case. Where is it? For example, different base, 150, 300, and so on. And let's see. And the table here, for example, you can change any value, even if this table, but you can make separate configuration, and you can calculate just directly. For example, you say, I want to put one base which is 200, just change it. Where is it? Okay, then you just change the figure. So if you just have some pictures and you want to, or some case you want to do some spot or you want to do something, you can calculate some typical case. For example, Carl this morning explained to you he did stereoscopic pictures, and you were quite high, something as 200 meters for the forest, yeah.
15 meters. 50 meters.
50. 50. And the trees are what remaining trees about 1 meter, no more?
1 meter, yes.
Okay, so let's put that here. And your base was 1,200 meter, 200 millimeter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Then distance here, we put 50 meter. And the interval, which is the distance between the subject, top of the tree, and the ground, 1 meter. Okay, so I just got 1.2. So what if put on the base was, I will say the minimum, And you said you have a little stereoscopic effect, but not too much.
Not too much.
Exactly what we found here. So if you want some example I saw this morning some pictures of the statue, for example, which were in alignment, one behind each other. This is really a nice picture for stereoscopy, really.
It would be
Yes, very nice. And
fairly close.
yeah, but we can calculate, we can do the same drawing, check, rig will be at that distance, that height, and check what it will be, because you are against the ground. So same as for the houses before, Some kind of height, some kind of elevation and angle, yes?
Does the focal length of the lens make a difference? You use a
Well-
24 millimeter versus a 45 or something.
Not really, because I put average value for keenness here, and it will change a little bit the keenness, but not too much. Instead of 0.4, you got 42 or 38.
Be reflected in that case.
But you have much more, I think, difference. By the distance on the base, you will change.
Focal length doesn't change perspective. If you take a wide angle lens and you crop the image on the inside, you get exactly the same image that we do
Yeah.
going forward. It's the same perspective. Only the distance to the subject changes perspective.
What may change is really the quality of your lens, Not really the focal itself, but you change lens and you got different results. So I put here the rig to already have seen. And you see, well, on this rig, the 2 cameras on 1 bar. I just can change the bar very easily. So it's easy to change the, well, I already on this one have several holes, but you can put a longer bar or a shorter one as you want. It's just moving like this, in fact, so. Okay. And the bar is just screwed underneath. You just change the bar anyway. I don't screw it for transportation, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Yes? Oh, fine. Okay.
Maybe I want to add that you do not necessarily need a stereoscopic rig to have stereoscopic pictures. It was much easier and calculate, because it's always worthwhile to look into your roll of film. You probably, if you picture like me, take a little bit more pictures than necessary because I have no video thing. And there's often on the same roll of film 2 photos next to each other or one in between that actually can serve quite well as a stereoscopic pair. And I've even found out how curious even it is that I sometimes have stereoscopic pairs between, say, negative number 1 and negative number 30, although I've moved around at the same time. It's true, I was fascinated by that. So I have this little viewer which Michel Duzahier showed us in the beginning, where the two things are one above the other, and it's a small investment, and it's fun of always looking at your pictures. You can sometimes have to work hard to know which one is the top one, which one is the left one, and which one is the right one. But it is interesting to see and to value or to put a greater value on your pictures. And of course, with a stereoscopic rig, then you have all the parameters in control, and your rate of success is that.
Yeah, that's true, but that's the difference of something you just see by chance, and you are quite happy to find some stereoscopic pair on one film. But if you are somewhere and you want to do stereoscopic pictures, that will not be the right method. If they want to do stereoscopic picture on the Eastern Island, definitively they will put one rig for that, yes. Same as for Carl, if you want to do, yes?
Have you tried the time form of projection where you use polarizing filters?
Well,
it's very interesting to see.
yes, it is.
We did that in Germany, in Flip.
Yes, it was done in Flip, and in France we have some guys doing stereoscopic photography for a very long time. It's very difficult to put it out very well. First, it's on slides. So the method that Frank said is obviously not possible with slides, And all the shots I've done with the stereo is with slides. So this is why you need one rig exactly to control all parameters. So you just put the 2 slides and it's the same picture. It's very difficult also to adjust because the 2 projectors should be set in such a way that you have the same image, exactly the same on the screen. So the right projector on the left one, you got each line exactly at the same place on the screen. So according to the distance you put in the room, how large is the screen, and so on, you have to adjust the 2 really. And you need a small screw to adjust each one, and it's quite a work.
I've been doing stereo projections at local colleges, talking to the sections, and like you said, you have to adjust the 2 projectors to make sure that they're matching. You can make them seasick in no time.
Yeah.
We all were in Germany.
Yeah.
We all were seasick in Germany. It took him a long time to adjust it, and if you looked while he was adjusting it, it was a...
And you need to, you cannot take your 2 slides and put it in the projector like that sometimes. They make some projectors where you have to readjust each slide in each frame. Here, when you look it through the viewer, your eye do it automatically, but not the projection, not the projectors. So you have to open each slide, get special slide, adjust it with very finely, try it. So it's very long time, and the stereoscopic people they spend a lot of time doing that. Then they have the slides, they know the projectors, and you just put it in, and it's perfect. And then you have 2 wear usually we do with polarizing screen. So one is polarized vertically, the second one is polarized horizontally. So you put that on projectors and you have glasses with the same sign. So this is why I'm not experienced really at all at that, and I would not have done that here.
I know there's a supply company in California, or it used to exist here in California, that would supply just about everything for 3D imaging for viewing of all sorts, including Viewmaster's technology and special slide frames, dual slide frames and singular slide frames. And they used to have a catalog, and I think they.
It's still on the web. You can find it on the web, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes. So.
thank you.